Hi Silem stars, you're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then you're welcome to my channel. My name is Silem. Very pleased to meet you. In today's video guys, I'm going to show you how to do a very simple lace placement technique. Now this is not the normal lace placement that you normally see online where you complete the base totally and then you now place the lace and then use needle and thread to sew it. That's not the lace placement I'm going to be teaching you. This one is different in the sense that the base is half done and then you put in your lace before continuing to sew, okay? Your base is not completely done, it's half done. You put in the lace and then you continue sewing and finish it neatly, okay? So I'll show you guys how I do this. Now I'm going to be using an overbust corset for this illustration. Now this is the lining piece. I already have a detailed tutorial on how I make my overbust corset. So this is my lining piece. I did bust caging and then I used my fiber to flesh it out. And then I added 3 Regline bonings on the bottom part just so that the waist is really snatched. This is what the right side looks like. You can see the bust caging here. And then this is what the fabric looks like. As you can see, I used Regline boning. I wrapped the Regline boning and then I sewed it to the fabric piece. This is the right side and this is what the wrong side looks like. I used hairstay first and then I now put in my boning channels, okay? My bonings. I put in my bonings. So this is what it looks like. And then this is the lace I'm going to be using, okay? I like to do this method because you don't have to go through the stress of using your hand needle to sew it. You can just go ahead and use your sewing machine to sew. So when it comes to any lace placement at all, you need a lot of pins, okay? So I have my pins on this wrist cushion here. So I'm just going to put it on. So this is my lining piece, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it like this. Place it like this. Make sure that it's sitting right. And then I'm going to pin the side. So when I'm done with one side, I'm just going to make sure that this base is flat on my mannequin, okay? You don't want it to be like this and then you pin it. You want it to be flat, so just pull it and then pin it on this side as well. Same thing with the bottom part. Pull it and pin. So as you can see, the neckline is actually asymmetric. It's not the regular sweetheart. This side is slightly higher than this side. That's the design, okay? Just in case you were wondering. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to take the fabric piece and I'm going to place it on top. Place it on top and then pin the same way. You want to make sure that everything lays smoothly on the mannequin, okay? You don't want one to be puffy and the other one to be smooth. Make sure that at the bust area you really pull, because you know that there's boning on the bust area, so you want it to lay flat. The boning can make it fold a bit, so you want it to lay flat, very flat. Now you can also do this on the table, but it's better to do this on the mannequin because obviously the bust area needs to follow the curve of the bust. For the back piece, I did the lace placement on the table. No need to put it on the mannequin because the back piece is basically flat. And then the next thing now is to place our lace. So this is the lace I'm working with. As you can see, it's a fully beaded lace, emerald green color. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it. So when it comes to lace placement, you want to decide what you want, like the pattern on the lace, how you want it to look on the piece, okay? So as you can see now, looking at this lace, they are like 2 large flowers, okay? So you want to just place it how you want it to be, literally how you want it to be, okay? So me now, because of this curve, there's a curve here on the flower, I want it to align with the curve of the neckline. So I'm just going to place it like that. So you just go ahead and pin. Now when you're pinning, make sure you're just pinning the lace to the fabric and the lining, and you're not pinning the lace to the mannequin, okay? For now, I'm just pinning the top. I'm still going to pin the bottom part as well. So I've pinned the top now. The next thing now is we're going to try to smoothen out this side. So smoothing the lace and pin, smoothing the lace and just pin. That's all you're doing. When it comes to the side, you're going to see that this part is a bit puffy. So what you can do is you can release the pin up here and smoothing out the side, okay? Just release the pin, smoothing it out, release the pin, smoothing it out. And once you've removed that puff, you can now repin the top. Remember we started with pinning the top and then we released it and repinned it, okay? So that's how you're going to do it until you get rid of every fold. You can see now the top is pinned, but when I pull here like this, you're going to see folds. So I'm just going to pull the side, get it pinned down. And to get rid of this fold, I'll remove this pin at the top and pull it and repin it. Same thing here as well. Pull and pin. That's why it's important that you're using a dress form for this, because you have the shape of the bust there to guide you. So as you can see, I'm done with the lace placement. Can you see the sides? Everywhere is now relaxed flat. So now that we're done with that, I'm just going to trim off the excess lace, okay? If you can, leave about half an inch when you're trimming off the lace. Don't trim exactly where it stops on your piece, okay? Same thing with the sides. Make sure you add about half an inch. Same thing with the bottom. Now, another good thing about this lace placement is that it takes less fabric. If I was going to cut out all the panels that I used to sew this corset, if I had cut it, you know, on the lace and then sewn it the way I sewed the doll face satin, I would use way more lace than I currently used, okay? You can see this is all the lace that I've used. You can see how small it is. But if I was doing this, you know, if I had cut all of the panels on the lace and then sewn the panels one by one before now putting in my boning, I would use more lace. Apart from that, I would have to start taking out the beads for each of the panels. Like when I cut out, let's say, the side front piece, I'll now take out the beads all around the edges of the side front piece. Then I'll go ahead to the center front piece and then take out all of the beads on the edges of the center front piece. I'll do the same thing for this other side front piece. So it's more time consuming when you cut out each of the panels on the lace. Obviously, if it's not a beaded lace, you can go ahead and do that. But if it's a beaded lace, it's going to take you a lot of time to do that. Take out all the beads and then start sewing. Another thing is, if I had cut out the panels on the lace and then I had sewn it, there will be a line here. You literally see the line where I sewed the lace. But with this one now, it's smooth. You can't see the line where I sewed the lace, okay? You can't see that, you know, princess seam line right here like this. Another thing is that the beads are complete. Looking at it now, the beads are complete. You don't see the beads taking off. But if that line was here, obviously you will know that for that line to be there, beads would have been taken off on that line. So that's why I actually like to use this technique. But now, leaving this on the mannequin, you can go ahead and take out the beads around the edges. I like to use my thread cutter, so I just take out the beads only at the edge. Okay, only at the edge. So like I said, this is not the lace placement where you're not taking out any of the beads. No, with this one, you're going to take out some beads, but not as much as you would take out if you were not doing this lace placement. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out the beads all around the edges, and then when I'm done, I'll take out the piece from the mannequin and then go ahead and sew my lace only to the fabric piece. So as you can see now, I've gone ahead to sew the lace to the fabric piece. I sewed it all around the edges, and then I did not stop there. I also went ahead to tack right at the center, like at different points. Okay, so I tacked at the center at different points. I just tacked it randomly at the places where there were no beads. Okay, so the places where the beads were not there, I just tacked it there, just so that everything is flat. Because if you don't tack it, this center part might just be loose. Okay, and then when the person puts it on, it might just be pulling off, kind of. I hope you understand what I'm explaining. But what I did was I just stacked it at different points, okay, at the center after sewing it all the way round, okay. So it's important that you do this. So if your lace has some parts where there are no beads, you can just use your sewing machine and just stack it at those different points. Then at the back, you can see the places where I attacked them, okay. See the different points I attacked. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this with my lining. That's the next thing I'm going to do. So now I'm going to place the lining right sides facing with the piece, and I'm going to sew the top parts. After sewing the top part, I'm going to notch the allowance, top stitch, and then sew the sides.
I wrote a message in my notes that I'm never gonna send to you, saying I'm sorry. I guess you never really know what somebody's gonna do when they get lonely. You found somebody better than me to take care of your insecurities. You did it all while leaving me in the dark. I try so hard to be what you need. If you're into the finer things, well, maybe we should let this fall apart. 'Cause I feel so stupid for falling for you. I should've listened to my friends when they told me not to. They said you're nothing but a one-night stand, trip to Candyland. If you get too close, then you might understand.
Now after sewing, I'm going to turn it now to the right side, and then you need to iron it flat, okay. So just go ahead and iron it very, very flat, and that's basically it for the front piece. I'm going to trim off the excess lining at the bottom part, okay, so that it's equal. So this is the lace placement for the back piece. Like I said, you can do this on a table because you don't really need to do this on the mannequin. So for the back piece, is very, very straightforward. So just place it the way you want it to be, pin it, and then cut off the lace. After trimming the lace, simply sew the lace to the fabric piece and then turn the fabric piece with your lining the same way you did for the front piece. So now I'm just going to sew the lace to the fabric. Before I do that, I'm going to take out all the beads all around. After sewing the lace to the fabric, I went ahead to turn the fabric with the lining, and then I ironed it nice and flat. So as you can see, this is what we have. The next thing you want to do now is simply join the front piece to the back piece along the sides using the body measurements. And this is the finished look of this beautiful top. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Bye.